All right, people, what's up? Sakshizion in the building. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, Abba Ras Anebana will be joining us shortly. Um, Welcome to my little podcast live stream. My name is Sakshizion. Right now, I'm currently in Kealakekua at the office slash sanctuary. We have a little space here, basically, and me and my friend Darby, we have a little office space right next to the New Thought Center. And every Friday, I do workshops, classes, special events right here in this space. And success, reading many different books from the New Thought tradition, as well as many successful thought leaders like Florence Shin, for example, or Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, um, and many different books and teachers from the New Thought and success and prosperity um, industry or wisdom. The wisdom coming aligning the chakras, getting the chakras in tune, using color breathing, visualizations, using the musical scale, using vowel sounds, toning these vowel sounds along with the musical notes, and vibrating the colors associated with each chakra is a powerful, powerful way to get your chakras aligned and harmonized in balance, which is so important. So many people's chakras are way out of whack, and it's like a thing that you need to do on a regular basis is to recharge. Or meditation, we deal with 3 different types of meditation. There's the japa meditation, which is taking like beads, right, or like a rosary, and chanting mantras, chanting holy names. And then we have musical meditation, where we use a classical piece of music, whether that's from Western classical music or Indian classical music, or some folk song, or a kirtan, or like healing sounds type of music, ambient, or live music where I'm leading with harmonium, very simple, relaxed, meditative type of music. So we do a meditation where we just kind of take a piece of music and we meditate, and that's really the core. It's that unnameable, that's the unnameable name of God, is complete silence. And in the silence, we're able to connect with God and commune with God, commune with the infinite, the divine mind. So the Gnostic study group is, and Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion. So one of the principles of Bhakti Yoga is studying these principles, singing the glories and praises of the divine, speaking, reading about the divine, contemplating the divine, eating pure vegetarian food that's been offered to the divine together with other devotees. We commune together, we sing together, we read together, we study, have discussions, we eat whole praises of the divine together. This is a satsanga in the Eastern traditions, also called a mastermind in mystical traditions, where you're dealing with the business. The ancients, they would practice these wisdom teachings sometimes in secret, in small groups. And then kirtan. Kirtan is the chanting of the holy names of the divine. Mantras, bhajans, prayers, hymns, poems, songs, chants, sacred mantras, names, vows, tones, all these different traditions. Kirtan can be found in every tradition. You have, every spiritual tradition in the world has a form of kirtan. The themes are always the same, whether it's redemption, whether it's praise, whether it's mourning or lament or longing, jubilation, joy, ecstasy, union. These are the themes that you can find in kirtan because you have different moods. Sometimes it's a song about with expressing longing towards the divine. Other times it's a jubilation, the ecstasy of union, right? So we have different traditions where you can chant together these holy names, and you can come from any tradition, and it's an indigenous tradition from North America to China to Africa, pagan songs. That's how all the great God devotee, a song came to them, and that song was so moving. It was so universal, imbued with so much energy and potency, and mantras go back thousands of years, right? So that's pretty powerful. Let's see. Let's read a little bit while we're waiting for Abba Ras Anebana. Let's see. When we say, "Give us this day our daily bread," we are asking of God. We are asking for more of God's life, more of God's wisdom and power as success and prosperity. When we fail to receive our daily bread, it is because we cannot receive God's good while we are thinking in terms contrary to that good. If we want a beautiful home, we do not think of going into the slums to look for it. If we want God's good, we must stop slumming in the mind. If we pray for one thing but think another, it is the thing we think about that is going to shape itself into our daily lives. When we think confidently about what we have asked in prayer, nothing can keep it from us. We know that God is divine mind, living intelligence. We can say of ourselves, "I too am a living intelligence. I am mind and therefore creative of nature. I have a body that is the product of my mind, and I live in circumstances that are also the product of my mind." When we pray, "Give us this day our daily bread," and then see ourselves as poor and unsuccessful, we set up a contradiction in mind that is bound to result in chaotic conditions of lack and limitation. On the other hand, discipline our minds to think joyfully of God's bounty instead of our fears and worries, we are bound to our employer, our investments, or some individual who pays our bills as the source of our supply. If the job, the investment, or the individual fails us, we are sunk in despair, feeling that the source of our prosperity is cut off. What we need to realize is that all material if an individual is working for a reliable firm and the pay clerk who gives the individual his or her envelope each week makes a mistake or absconds, the individual is not disturbed because he or she knows that the firm will make good. If the partner does, the senior partner always makes good. Pay clerks may come and go, but God's infinite resources can always be depended on to become manifest through some new channel. We frequently hear the expression "pay on demand" used in the business world. We need to learn that God always pays on demand, the demand of faith. When any human channel of supply fails, we have only to remember that the source of supply will continue to fill our needs through some other channel when we send out our call of faith. Many people limit their prosperity by the bondage in which they hold others. They feel that they are poor because people do not pay them what they owe them. They look to their debtors rather than to God as the source of their supply. Attitude towards debtors. They will be able to say with conviction, "You are not the source of my supply. I look only to God for my prosperity. You are one of the channels of abundance for me." This new vision lifts both the individual and the debtor out that all God's children are partakers of God's bounty and are channels through which that bounty flows to others. Substituting this new clarified thought for the old limited one is forgiving the debtor as we are instructed to do in the Lord's Prayer. When we look to God alone as the source of our supply, we limit ourselves by filling our minds with fears, doubts, worries, and false beliefs that prevent us from accepting our divine heritage of abundant good. Jesus taught us to find in nature illustrations of God's action in our own lives. Cycles of growth, blossoming, and fruitage bear witness to the fact that there truly is plenty of substance constantly manifesting through the operation of natural law. This same spiritual substance also constantly manifests through mental law. All the marvels of modern civilization bear mute testimony that limitless, omnipotent spiritual substance is ever ready to manifest in form according to the idea as it was 500 years ago, a part of a wooded island. A deer might have been grazing where the Empire State Building now stands. A Native American woman might have been gathering firewood in a little clearing that is now the site of Rockefeller Center. What would she have thought if through some miracle she had straightened from picking up buildings, the world's greatest skyscrapers, automobiles, and buses roaring along, and perhaps a plane or two soaring overhead? In the store windows she would see innumerable things that would mean absolutely nothing to her because she could not imagine a use for them. What could a food processor or a DVD player or the 1,001 luxuries so beautifully displayed mean to her? They could mean nothing at all because no one in her world had ever felt the need of them, and so no one had ever conceived ideas of them. Where were all these amazing things in the 15th century? They existed potentially in the realm of spiritual substance, which is the realm of divine mind. The substance of God mind, which is the spiritual substance of the universe, was always ready to pour itself into any idea that anyone might conceive and so project itself into form. The potentiality of everything our 20th century civilization can boast and everything that future civilizations can produce has always existed in God mind. It is the ever-ready supply that always. Jesus said, "According to your faith, let it be done unto you." Matthew 9:29. Have faith in the omnipresence of God for such good. Have faith in God's goodwill for you. This faith will enable you to affirm, because I am God's supreme creation, I cannot claim too much of God. My Father created me as a channel of His own mission for Him. Such faith is obeying prosperity's first commandment. You shall look to no other. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Good question, for what we just read is, what limits our supply? Only our mind. Only the perceptions and the conceptions that we've created that creates lack. That's the only thing that limits our supply. What relation do material avenues of supply bear to the source of supply? I love what was being said in this about how everyone, most of us, we our supply, and we may get frustrated because we're waiting on somebody to fill our cup, right? What we're waiting on as our source of supply. But the true source is coming from God, and all people are just different channels for that abundant good, for that abundant supply. So when we start to see that the supply is unlimited and starts of that universal abundant supply, then that's where our mindset, our perception of the world radically changes, and we're able to actually start reaping the benefits of that universal supply. As he said, that mantra, that affirmation, because I'm God's supreme creation, I cannot claim too much of God. Meaning, there's no limit. I can only claim so much, right? Because I'm just less and God is great. No, because it's like unlimited credit, right? There's no limit. My father, my mother created me a channel of her own almightiness. I'm a channel of God's expression. So everything that we can manifest is coming through us. We're different channels of God's expression, of God's almightiness, of God's omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence, like this. All the things that you can even describe, whether that's passion, empathy, greed, lust, all the different range of things that we can feel and express are different aspects of God expressing through us, and start living as God, as gods. Jesus says, ye are gods. He said it himself. Even greater things that I have done, ye shall do. All the mystics, the yogis, the Gnostics, the high elevated masters, they understood this, right? And even people that aren't really masters or enlightenment, sometimes they were brought up a certain way, or they rub shoulders with this or that person, and they're unconsciously really good at manifesting or attracting. And so a lot of times it really has to do with that mindset, accomplishments, right? That's a lot of that is their mindset. A lot of that is that confidence in what we were just describing, is that faith, right? God, as our banker, pays on demand the demand of faith. So Jesus was always teaching, right, that he healed through faith, is having the faith, the conviction, the belief that I am whole despite the appearance of brokenness, that I am healed despite the appearance of sickness, that I am healthy despite the appearance of illness, that I am wealthy, abundant, despite the appearance of lack or poverty, right? So perception of reality with some health problems, right? Well, the faith that's going to change that for you, the mindset, the secret that's going to truth despite the appearance. So the eternal truth is you're healthy. The eternal truth is you're wealthy. Is the appearance of lack, the appearance of sickness. And you have to kind of train your mind to see this. And how do we know this is the truth? Well, it goes much deeper than, so you have to start identifying this world. Like, for so many people, the biggest illusion most people are in is bodily consciousness. And Uber driver, like, people are asked, well, who are you? What do you do? That's what people will say. Oh, I'm John from Indiana, and I work. I'm a gardener, right? All those things are fine to have these different employments. To right, you are. Um, oh, hold on, I think Anebana is trying to get on the stream. Let me. Let him in. Trying to get Anebana on here. La la la, do a thing. And let the refugees breathe. Oh la 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 la, the real thing. Okay, come on, Anebana. Okay, well, hopefully. Ooh, la, 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 la. Come on, buddy. Final question on the topic: what should be our attitude towards our debtors? Well, just what the book said is we should start seeing our debtors simply as channels of our supply and not the source of our supply. That's the big difference. Source, channel. What is the source? God, divine, the infinite. There's no limit. It's eternal. It's everything, right? Channels, your employer, this person that you did business with or did a trade with. These are just channels. Maybe you have an online business. These are all channels. You know, it's kind of like the idea of having multiple streams of income. You got to think of your abundance that way, because abundance, supply, substance comes in many different ways, right? Maybe someone gave you some free food, like here in Hawaii, we have lots of fruit trees, right? So we'll have people giving away their avocados or their mangoes or their oranges or their limes. There's such an abundance here, and that's a prosperity, a type of currency, a type of exchange, right? Let's see if he's able to get on. Oh, there he is. Yes,
Greetings.
Alright, can you hear me okay?
Blessed love Almighty.
Let's see. Can you hear me okay? Abba? Abba, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you're a little low.
Okay.
Maybe if I get to this.
How about now?
That's a little better. A little.
Let's see. Greetings, man. How have you been?
Blessed. How's one?
Very good. Very, very good. So much we could touch on. I'd love to, catch up with you more, and we can hopefully do that a little bit today. Talk about some of the possibilities of getting you here to come visit us. That'd be amazing.
Right?
So So first, yeah, I just want to thank you for coming on and give a little introduction for the people that don't know who you are, and hopefully that'll segue into our interview and our conversation. So, everybody, welcome to the live stream. Um, Today, I have as a very special guest Abba Ras Anebana Tafari. Such a great blessing to have you on. Me and Abba go back. We met over, let's see, like almost 20 years ago in Indiana. And I was born in Indiana, and that's where I met Abba Ras Anebana Tafari and his Empress Shirley. And Ras Abba has been holding down the the Nyabingi tradition, the Rastafari tradition, for probably over 3 decades now, maybe longer.
Almost 3 decades.
Yeah, close to 3 decades now. Yeah,
I've
and
been rooted in
yes,
92, physically speaking, anyway.
wow.
It's from
Yeah,
creation,
right,
really.
right, exactly. And I want to touch on that a little bit more. Almost school for a good long time, and you probably still do. You're probably still, I would imagine, you're still teaching wherever you go. And
True.
so many of us came forward to your gates, and we learned so much. Having meals together, and meditating, and singing and chanting together, playing instruments, being taught the Nyabingi rhythms and the uh, deeper esoteric traditions that you've kind of studied and researched and kind of unveiled through your journey. And man, yeah, you've been a big mentor for me. You've been a huge um, influence on me, and we've done some musical shows in the past. We've been in a couple bands. Like, I just am so thankful that I've, I had such close contact with you for all those years, and we've remained connected after all these years. And
Yes, I give
so
thanks
I
and
really give thanks for that. And
both sides.
yes. And we're still close, even though we seem far away, distance wise. And I'm, like I was saying, I'm more works as we've done, and this is, this little podcast is just scratching the surface of what's possible and what's hopefully to come in future collaborations. So Ras
That's it.
Abba Ras Anebana Tafari, thank you for being here. And how would you like to introduce yourself? Is there anything you want to start off with?
Um, First and foremost, um, greetings in the name of His Majesty, Imperial Highly Eyes,
Selassie.
Rasta, Blessed Yad Chayva, the one that has become many kings, the Lord of Lords, Lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of Himself and light out of that world. Many name, many formed, shall live every time. So it's blessed for brethren and sisters as well. Dignity, like the precious oil that runneth down the beard and down the collar by night road, is as a precious dew that falleth upon Mount Hermon, Mount Sinai, where the I might love life everlasting. Rastafari, all I know, I last life, I'm living, I was faithful, I was sure. Who live and reign in the heart of my night flesh, not naivety, I continue in the heart of all flesh. See, Abba, Abba.
Beautiful.
So yeah, you know, our praises due first and foremost. We do those things first.
Yes.
I'm Abba Ras Anebana Tafari. My name technically is Anebana Tafari. That means he who is one with all. Anebana means that. And Tafari means create. So you put that together, he who is one with all create. That I. I'm better at answering questions.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah.
Because that's what I'm so used to, you understand.
Yeah. I just want to give you a
have
chance.
no, you know.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a chance to.
I grew up in, you know, little background, I guess. Yeah, man.
Sure.
One's always ask where you from? And I say, so that being said, in this incarnation of myself, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, city of the lions. And when I say born, I would mean that I was born, and the minute my mom was released from the hospital, I moved back to Chicago. She locally moved there. She was young when she had me. She was in the movement and so forth very early. She had graduated from high school at like 16 and joined the civil rights movement. For babysit Martin Luther King. So yeah, that's my mom, who was also a union president as well, from after being fired and working as a waitress for about a year or so, and then getting rehired back at the phone company. Then a year later, she was the secretary treasurer. She was the secretary, then she was the treasurer, then she was president. So I mentioned I know mom because, you know, like scripture says, you know, honor our father and mother, and our days will be long. You know, so I can't really talk about I without talking about, to a certain extent, my parent. And that was mom. She raised me in Detroit and moved back to Chicago. Her mother. Until she had her own space and all that. But so I grew up in Chicago, and I went to Catholic grammar school in high school, which I was a mental health specialist, and that's where I also grew my personal life. So I was in there for 4 years, and then I got out of the military, and let I locks grow and so forth. And I met certain individuals that clued me more into Rasta in a more aware way, I would say. Like even when I first rooted up, I didn't know how to Selassie, you know, very specifically, personally, I would say, your head. I'm not the Rasta imposter. I'm the Rasta, as it were. Drive to, you know, be on our night path. Once I got out of the military, I arrived into some people that were like, hey, there's these classes on African prosperity, ancient committing. Word, that's what's up. As well, that same person was like, hey, did you know you're growing antennas into the universe? And I was like, yeah. So then there's been, a bit of a wild, but, straightforward path from said point where I met I Elder and did Nyabingi there in Chicago as a member of the Liberty Nyabingi Choir for several years. I first wife, Kristen. Bless. So several years I was there. I did some traveling after I kind of split up with my wife, or my queen at that time. And then first, yeah, holla. We did our first demo in Minnesota, actually. It's a little bitty town in Minnesota until Chicago, so forth. While I was in Minnesota, you gonna come? Well, if y'all guide I there, I'll be there. And it so happened that, just to make the long story short, that y'all guy like, hey, I'm going to the Rainbow Gap. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This person invited you. So yeah, and so I went for it to the Rainbow Gathering, and I was there for that duration of that event, so to speak. And as we were about to leave, I linked with a couple of elders from Taos, New Mexico, and they invited me forward to Taos, and I was like, well, I'll sleep on it, and I'll see what job comes up. And I had this vision, as men would call it, dream. And I know better was that vision, where I was traveling in a white Jeep Cherokee with gold trim and gold spokey hubs to, with their gear. We help them do all that vibe. When I get to the Jeep Cherokee with gold trim and gold spokey hubs, so one overstand the manner in which I move, but in the way of most. You know what I mean? I mean that is as and to the guidance and said guidance. And that's where I met this.
Yes.
There's lots of adventures in between. Small, never not journey.
Perfect. Well, maybe I have some questions to spark the convo. In the military, I was curious if any of the lessons, in the military have transpired, how that.
Well, at my job in the military, in the Air Force, was a mental health unit specialist. So I worked on the mental health unit. I did, groups and one-to-one therapy, and worked with people with substance abuse and people who were very schizophrenic, bipolar, and the whole family to adjustment disorder. Isn't as extreme, shorter stage. So that is very crucial to being a minister, really, because part of that is definitely, I would say, being a counselor. But it's from the spiritual place rather than just strictly book psychology. So I've studied that as well. As it's spirituality mind. Psychology is a science that we as Africans have been developed when we look at our cultures, as well as the Hindu culture, the religion, and the pantheon specifically Yoruba, then what we're seeing is a psychological breakdown of the whole being on the tree of life. So it's a thing where it is not a worship of the or reach us. It is a worship of the Almighty as one, and that one creator. There's no devil. There's no hell, which lines up with original Hebrew, the Torah. There's no devil. There's no hell in the Torah. You dig? There's an underworld, yes, hell as the concept in Christianity, Catholicism. So this idea of condemnation and fear is in actuality, when we look at our original indigenous tradition, which Christianity springs from, they're not more realistic and original actual spiritual practice, if a person is a Christian, is of Christianity. And for I, is it more so just about, not that there's anything about the word love the word. It's more about living it. There's enough ones to read the book and think, read the Bible and still go on. You dig? Go and do what their ego want to do. That's it. If you do, and you want to, whoa, why this correction? I don't cite punishment, but correction is very real. I have yet to see a master that to date that did not say you're going to reap what you sow. Period. What, you know what I'm saying? Or be it Muhammad, all Islam, be it Yeshua, be it Buddha. You know what I'm saying? There are, no independent occurrences. That's saying we reap what we sow. Most subtle being, of course, mind heart connection, I would say. I would say mind heart because we really feel all our emotions are made here. You dig? The brain is what the peptide that we experience as emotion. So even emotion in reality, we say the heart, we think of the chakra. Yes. The actual feelings, I'm saying, manifest here in reality, not philosophy, reality, you know what I'm saying? Which is lined up with, what I'm saying, rituality when you think about it. Jazz, they say Jah peoples will have, when we look at that, some people look on that literally like, you think Jah's going to be with a pen, scribe up on your brain. No, man, you know what I'm saying? Your forehead is where your eyes are chakra, these metaphysical things that they're speaking of. So center of focus. So say somebody have Jah name written upon their forehead, means that is sealed in the focus. In a special, I would say, way, where most people are more focused on in the body and survival and that kind of thing. Go give praises. That's people are in this self. This is what creates animalistic behavior and man's inhumanity rather than love of fellow. You seeing?
Wow, that's crucial. What you just shared, and it's gonna be very fascinating to see kind of like where people evolve kind of to when they get to that knowledge. It's like, I know for most of us, the information is just the beginning, and it's like the application of the knowledge is where the real transformation takes place.
Yes,
I
it's
want
all about application.
right. I wanted to ask
I mean,
you.
that's what people call wisdom.
I wanted to ask you about as a minister. What is it? What does being a minister look like for you? What does that entail in your particular ministerial duties?
I think it's like, those contracts. It says, you sign, and then all other duties are signed. That, again, I feel is crucial because, like, if you're really going to serve the Most High, you can't always be like so picky. It's where, because I knew you before you were clothed in flesh. And so at that point, one must become more, be guided. You're a baby again.
Let me interrupt you real quick. So I want to introduce you and the viewers out here to the homie Forrest. Forrest in the Red is here, and he's going to be listening to the remainder of the interview. My mentors, me and Abba go way back to Indiana, where I'm from, and he's like a elder of the Rastafari tradition. He taught me the Nyabingi drums. We spent hours and hours and hours, reasoning and learning together. And he, we'd sit and read the Bible together, and he, explain his wisdom. Forrest is a seeker too. Forrest is on the spiritual path, and we gather together, and we're building a little like satsang kind of vibe here on the Big Island, and that's kind of what we want to bring together people like Abba to the island because he's a musician, he's a teacher. We could do several workshops with Abba and really give a lot of his gifts to the people here on the island. So
we're a pleasure meeting you, man.
Yes, same wine. Yes, love. In your name, Rastafari.
So Forrest is gonna just chill and listen for the remainder of the interview. I got a couple more questions for you, and you were speaking on being a minister, though. Before I interrupted you.
It really just sometimes depends on what's called for. You know what I mean? In this sense that, sometimes I might need to be fireman. Sometimes I need to be waterman. Sometimes I need to be earthman. Sometimes I need to be airman. Which is to say, sometimes I need to be air, more communicative, more in the communicative interaction. I need to be water, more in the emotion. I need to be fire and more in the active. Or if I need to be more grounded, earth vibe, in order to hold space for someone. So it is some of those things. And as a minister, I would say as well, is, walking in a way, because everybody's on their path too. Where you're on your path, enough that it can be used as somewhat of a template for beings. As a entrance point into, higher spirituality, guidance, this kind of thing as well. So that is one of the things. And there are certain ones that call to I in a specific manner, and they know who they are in a specific way. Where just sent them vision, sent one from one and all these communications very directly And then there are ones and ones that I meet, and I might meet them one time, and that may be the effect that I'm supposed to have in their life and them time and time. You understand?
Yep, yep.
So it's not something I could just say. It's every time it's that is live, you know.
Yes, that
I
makes
present
sense.
this before I not the spiritual thing.
That makes a lot of sense. That you would be, it depends on who you're ministering to, what sort of guidance and mentorship and ministering would take place. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man. Because some people need fire and brimstone. You dig?
Right.
Some people need to be overstood. A lot of more ones need to be understood and accepted, and you know what I mean.
Right.
With some of the fire, you know what I'm saying? That's discipline, and you know, because that's the nature of the thing is people get in the world, but the time they pick up habits from the world, and so it takes time for them to be that old man and be renewed in the spirit, to be walking in Christ. And when I say that, I don't mean just Yeshua, but in the crystallized consciousness of the Almighty One. And so when a man or woman is unified in their consciousness, then is Christ. In essence, everyone is the manifestation, so to speak, in the reality of their being. But it's different degrees to, how I want to say, it's like Dharma, they call them something attachments to basically the lower identity. You know what I mean? So a lot of this is knowing, you know what I mean? Every person born in Christ,
Pack it up and
connected.
step outside whenever you
You see? So in that kind of state of consciousness, rather than in the illusion of disconnect from the person, which just can't be because source is one.
different combo or different direction. What you think or what you envision where the movement is headed, like with the way society is right now, with a lot of the confusion and a lot of the divisiveness, all over the world, with like politics and all sorts of, like how Rastafari, maybe how, Rastafari has. You see, with your knowledge, with your experience, how this all unfolds and where you see it's going.
Well, what I can tell you what I see, rather than quote unquote like my opinion in that.
Yes,
I can tell you what Joshua. When I look at the pandemic and knowing that we live in evolving life on Earth here, that everything is moving in that way towards evolution of the whole. So one of the things that when we cite these incidences is rather than just like we do on the individual, rather than be like, oh man, this sucks, this is happening, it sucks, the spiritual things, it's, cite up and ask source, what is this? What is this? What am I, to gain from particular experience? So when I look at the whole coronavirus thing, one of the things that off the bat stands out is that this was a disorder that directly affects breathing. So globally, man got, if you would call it, a check on how important breath is. You dig? And they're aware on what life is, because literally a lot of people got shown, whoa, life is 10. It's not just, it's not guaranteed. You got all this technology and medical science and so on. You dig? Some, when we look, everything come from one source. You feel me? Ultimately, even if it was man-made in the lab somewhere, still so. The inspiration from that had to come from the dark side of source. That being said, it's still gonna move. Even said one Buddha with all the negative things. You seen Hitler created an atmosphere where no Hitler can ever get like that again. But there'll never be another happening broad, global social daylight. They let him just, okay, I'm just gonna start, genocide all these people over here. They let him do it. You seen? So when we look back on that on a historical sense, we see how that kind of thought, feeling, if you want to call it a philosophy, is to most people's minds distasteful, even people that are prejudiced. You see? Because Trump did his due in the way that he did it, that created a whole bunch of people jumping off of the cultural / racial fence and dealing with, human rights on a bigger or holistic way. Like, wait a minute, right? Because he was so blatant certain levels, you know what I mean, that it was like it was as blaring as a hit. You know what I'm saying? In certain ways. But people be like, hey, that's not the vibe, yo. Even somebody negative, they still bring out something positive. If you're looking, you dig? You have to look, and see the whole picture, what God create instead of just individual card.
Cool. Beautiful. Yes, let's see. You mentioned the tree of life earlier. Could you give us a little overstanding of the tree of life? How you would best explain it?
Well, we got, tree of life, which cannabis, and this is a physical manifestation. And then we have what we would say symbolic or comedic tree of life with the 10 separat or spheres from Amen or Ein Sof in Hebrew to Malkut, earth, heaven to earth. And the metaphysical aspect or the spiritual practice with is again involved with. It's not a thing of just, okay, I'm gonna in this vibe. You know what I mean? Oh, you invoke that vibe, that particular spirit. You do the best prayer and your words are power. And in essence, you allow that aspect of you to be activated. And you climb this sad tree of life through these spheres of consciousness or aspects, which also line up with the Orisha and as well as the angels, quote unquote Christianity. So the truth is truth. It come in many. So in this time with so much information, meditation is the most crucial thing, because it's through meditation when it's connected, comes on in resonant. So that when you come across this information or these vibes, you know whether it's, sound. Because a lot of things in this time can look real, but is a false prophecy, so to speak. So it's through much prayer, meditation, and stress. Because knowledge is power. That means having the ability to move. How they say, no, if you know better, you can do better.
Right.
You dig? So when you think about that level of knowledge, and the more this person has himself, his ability, to apply that ability, the more better that person will be in connection with source, of course. Of course. Connected to source. See that kind of movement, one to get down. And then the right answers, the right movement, and come forward, you know what I mean? Through that said internal power.
Beautiful. Can you try moving slightly back from your microphone? I don't know if it's the delay or if it's like peaking. Like some of what
better?
Some of what you're saying is getting kind of blurred. Or let's try that though.
Is that better?
I think so.
Awesome.
All right, I got a couple more questions for you. You were mentioning the devil, how the devil doesn't exist. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, I should slightly rephrase. The devil doesn't exist in the Torah, which is Old Testament. When I say that there is no devil, you can cite this up from several traditions, Dharma, and these kind of things. But they talk about beings that are basically being created by negative thoughts. You understand? Just like someone can create something positive and bring to life something positive with their focus and energy in the direction. Same wise, it can bring negative. I forget the word for it, but there's this word for the entity, and but Abraham talks about Esther Hicks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He talks about this as well when you go on a bridge or something like that. Where there's been an accident, that residual energy from part of the trauma or what have you, emotion that happened there, and still be just because no energy is created or destroyed. You feel me? Or energy can't be destroyed. It just transforms. You see? So that energy is still there in vibration. See, that's why you can walk into a room and have an argument in there real bad. No fuck you. If you're sensitive anyway, you can feel somebody have bad vibes. You cleanse in space, then it's different. that may manifest. Seen? And some people have what they would call devils, you know what I mean? Can be a bad habit for them, you know what I mean? That's destructive to their, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual life. You know what I mean? And when they come with these about demons and devils is that as well as far as individual thing. But as far as I believe in some cat with horns in it, I gotta blatantly laugh. And I've rebuked spirits. But it wasn't and never when I rebuked the spirit was it something come pop up with a pitchfork and horns. No. Times I have experienced that. Well, and I just sight up, get you behind me, Satan. Like, I was at the gates, and like I said, I got a vibe, man. So I just all these mice come, 2 or 3 mice run out the house right after I said that. Boom, out the crib. And they remind I of scripture where Yeshua throw legion into a, herd of pigs.
Right.
So there is this kind of thing, but it's displaced energy, you feel me? That's why it can be moved easily with it. If you have faith and confidence in your faith, you can believe, or maybe I can tell that spirit go away, and how you have to feel it and know in your bone, viscerally. I'm gonna tell this one,
Wow.
in His name and power. Even with human beings, sometimes for real. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because there's on the path as well. You know what I mean? Unto enlightenment. Because that person, until they have, release certain attachments, flow, knowledge, naturally, without reading it in the book. You see, literally, this one of that want to come to I, and how they express it to I, man. I answer their questions for they ask them. Because you already know the answers to the question. You see, so some of that is I and I, that's I thankful that ones and ones can tap in such a way.
That was crucial, what you just shared. So much in there kind of blew my mind, and I love the way you described it. Demonstrations or demonstrations. It's like about
That's my Lord.
it's about thought forms, and you can if you don't protect yourself, these energies or thoughts can kind of drain you, almost like a energy vampire. If you allow these negative thoughts to grow, right? They become
biggest protection, liberty.
Yes.
Righteous liberty is the biggest. I tell you, living in the Dharma.
Yes.
And no bullshit.
Well, that's
where that person, and we all grow up, like where each person at on the path, living the fullness of whatever they know in that place. So she grow, you know what I mean?
It's because that kind of leads into my last 2 questions. We're gonna give you 3 more questions. I'm gonna give Forrest a chance to ask you. My first question is, what is your understanding of the Bodhisattva, or what a Buddha, like that? Like, explain to us, from your experience, what is a Bodhisattva?
I mean, several ways that's connected. When you study Buddhism deeply, you'll find they have what is called Fa, or law. So Dafa is, Buddha law. Within that said body of knowledge is this, that Christianity is another group of same standard. Is not really compared to philosophies, liberty, and precepts. You can see it very clearly. There's a lot of yoga and Christianity and in the Bible as well.
Right.
You know what you're looking for. Quite simply. But the Bodhisattva is one that goes, to the further shore, to the point, and then stops at the gate. Could walk through the gate if you want, as it were, of enlightenment, liberation, not come back to this planet, and decides to stay and usher souls. And that is what a bodhisattva is, specifically. A Tathagata is somebody that has realized suchness as it is. Their detachment is super full. I feel it to a great degree. That I'm 54. This will be my birthday coming up. Just starting to find out more stuff about me on a soul level.
Right. That's beautiful. I love that.
So it don't stop. It's not a thing. Okay, I've manifested enlightenment. I'm connected. I'm tapped in. I'm tuned in. I'm turned on. Honey, graduate. You know what I'm saying? It is a thing of, okay, this is that ending. Now this is the ending. You seen? Where Rastafari as a path, as I originally, trod upon it, the essential precept, not highly celestiales and mighty. That's something that's been revealed unto I and I. You know what I mean? However, at the same time, each person has individual covenants and so forth. So I and I individual covenant is so that I and I can grow and expand spiritually, not limited per se to religious concept. You understand? And I cite Christ at the sacrifice. That doesn't stop. And I practice in Ether, for example. Because when I look at spirituality, even religion, when you put all the pieces together, or pardon me, when you put all the religions together, I'm not the only one that's had this thought, but I'm definitely one of you.
Yes.
You dig? Where people so caught up in, okay, I'm the Christian, and the Muslim is I'm a Muslim, and I'm not a Christian, and I'm lighting up. Okay, wait a minute. Wait, where did all this come from? One, the creator civilization, the language is developed, and so forth. Even knowledge when that occurred, even knowledge get pieces. This is in prophecies as well, not just me keeping it on my neck. There's no prophecies about this thing too. the nations are given, and ones come together in these times in order for there to be actual. Because when you look at, you see, the East is a strong propensity to the disciplines of the mind and the breath. The more northern hemisphere or the western hemisphere here, there's this connection to the earth and its spirits and herbs and these kind of things. You seen? In the north, or in the west, pardon me, in the north, it's more physically, so that physical development came forward. And so you have Africa, the land of the sun, where the fire is. Yeah, man, the fire of creation, like the sun. Bless y'all, Rasta. They in the cut there. I see you over in the cut. You got your question?
Yeah, I was wondering if you've been talking about faith and the willpower to overcome the demon illusions, the thoughts from the mind that sneak in, or the other forces that come in. And I just wanted to wonder if you could expand on just where does that willpower come from, and like what is that faith in?
That's a good question. Thank you.
That's my homie.
People be getting. That's a good question. Faith. That's a good one to go in on. What is faith? Okay. Faith is an understanding of how creation, and thus trust, understanding. You seen? Like, if I not understand, then I'm gonna do the things. I'm gonna drink water 6 to 8 glasses a day, or I'm gonna have some fruit smoothies. I'm on my H3O. Is it HO3? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, HO3. It is H2O3. H2O3. No, it's H2O2. No, it is H3O. Yeah, because it's from running water specifically that you get H3O, as well as from fruit. The juice in the fruit is H3O. It's not water, which is better for the body. Water you need, but H3O is better. So anyway, I'm gonna drink the appropriate amount of water or hydration that I need in order to facilitate my structure functioning correctly for my spirit to dwell in it and function to do the things that it needs to do. Saying so, it is the same thing with is understanding that okay, life looks like this, creation happens like this, and once you understand creation happens like this, then certain habits fall off kind of naturally. Like, oh, I'm in this step of the creation process. You dig? Oh, this is how I'm making new creation, so I'm not frustrated by it to a certain extent, and that contrasting situations can bring. Again, very natural. And it's not what a lot of people think it is, because they're still approaching it most of the time with a very physical, gross will is internal. You understand? So if I'm going to engage my will on a specific thing or in a specific direction, it's still on feeling and thinking that thing that I'm manifesting to the point that I'm then I simply wait. Well, not wait, but allow. Like, okay, when is the next step? Open for the next particular step and goes, boom. Oh, here's that step, flow. You know, so having the willpower, a lot of that comes through knowledge. Like, once you know the stove burns you, you don't go put your hand on the hot stove. Right?
Yep.
It's that simple. There's some things in life, there's many things in life that are hot stoves. You know what I'm saying? So when people understand, oh, that's a hot stove, then let's not put your hands, not do that thing. You know how well that works, right? Like, not at all. I'm not going to think that. I'm not going to think about that.
Yep.
So the real thing is getting the mind consistently by whatever means. If it's sitting focusing on a dragonfly and that gets you into spiritual heights, great. If you focus on the name of the Most High and that takes you into the heights, clears you from your resistance, great. So it's about, what works. And that's part of why, there are certain things across the board. I think with spirituality, like breath and its connection to the mind, that's the same across the board, no matter where you at on planet Earth, what culture you're in. If you slow down your breath, that's just period truth. Truth applied. You'll see that throughout any real spiritual culture. They ain't dealing with the breath. It ain't no spiritual culture. Straight up. So, yeah, that's willpower. A lot of that is just, it's natural. Like you might have a particular, because it's a neural pathway. If you got a bad habit and you're trying to stop a bad habit or eat different, whatever it might be. Again, it's thinking about and feeling the vibrations, the emotions, which are frequencies as well, mind you. Of that particular thing that you want to manifest, that better habit or whatever that it might be. Then you're thinking about the thing you don't want to do. If that don't work, you actually give it a minute. So you gotta just focus the mind positively and get into that habit. You know what I mean? We got all kind of people that habit. You know what I mean? Why not develop the habit of a positive mind? Your heart, because out of it come the issues of life. See, how this person, that person, and thing, how they thinking and thing, how they thinking and see. Do whatever the job would say? Irie up yourself and don't be no jerk. In order for me to be irie, I'm about to have the big SUV car and big palatial mansion, and that's too big for me in the first place. And all of this thing. And the thing they should really get is happy first. Seeing because they got all them things that don't manifest happy. Like I'm gonna have a whole bunch of, in this time at least, not that I'm averse to it, physical wealth manifested in this moment. Y'all know, man, these people jealous of me, brother. that got way more things. Real talk. You see? Because in their own heart, they're not happy.
Nope. You have a different kind of wealth.
So they go and be jealous about, so they see someone else happy in any kind of way, or any kind of peace of mind, any kind of thing. Oh man, I don't like that. Like what? Maybe I show you a door, man, and you open up the door and they point the love.
Walk through.
You see him?
Walk through the
but
gates.
Enough people judge books by covers and this kind of thing. That's why Jah don't choose the perfect. Sure. That's to confound the worldly wise people. They're always looking for somebody worldly, but they want spiritual things. You seen? And when they're really looking for spiritual, then they'll see real spiritual people that it might not appear like, you know what I mean? I might just be walking down the street in a pair of busted jeans and things. You know what I mean? For real.
Yes, yes. Straight up.
But still the same mind. You have ears to hear, they'll hear the voice of God moving through. You know what I mean? Because I submit myself to that. Because otherwise I couldn't. He's the most high Paul was. You know, how the one say all powers but by our powers. Paramahansa Yogananda, yeah.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man. Because it's a reality of it, you know. It's a way in the physical body, any manifestation, supernatural, this or that, it's an allowance. You know what I mean? I had just sit me down, bro. You know what I mean? Nah, you don't know what I mean. Check it out. Yeah, you know this, brother, too. Me and brother Charles, we go up by the dog park in Bloomington there. You know, you go past the little fishing pond where they got there on the walkway.
Yeah.
And then you can go up on the walkway and walk around there. So we went up there, you know, communicating the vibe. We smoked before we left. So by the time we get there, we you know, not super, you know, irie, but we irie. I mean, man, we walking along. We get to this spot, brother. Let's sit down a minute, man. So we sit down, and then we try to get up at a certain point. Nah, brother. Receive. Get up off our boots. Not no philosophical thing. Not no. I believe no. We couldn't get up. Every time I tried to get up, bro, I got pissed. Like, I'm like, whoa, what the? Tried to use a tree to get up even at a certain point. No, job. Selassie, highly. Sit down, you know what I mean? Now, I've seen a couple other ones have some similar experiences. I showed them. Like, sit down. And the neighbors in the middle class and why couldn't get up. Had to sit down until Josh said get up. You know, so it's a reality when we talk about the Almighty. You know what I mean? Is a creator and is one and is love and intelligence. Lord have mercy. Let me say that again. Love and intelligence.
Crucial.
So let's not get it mixed up because people be mixing up by divine law. You know what I'm saying? Not the you know that's a manifestation of that greater love. must. See? So yeah, but it's knowing that love that is one of the reasons. One, I love this man. I'm gonna take care of him, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Unconditionally. So it's experience with life, spirituality, and all these things. I hope I answered that question. Willpower thing.
No, definitely.
That cover that?
Soaking that in. That was incredible.
Heights.
Crucial. Well, Abba, we're gonna end the live stream really soon, but I want to ask you one final question, and then give you a chance to say some final words for us for the time being. Recommend to our listeners to start doing, thinking, being a positive habit maybe to help our progress. You were just talking about the power of the will, and you were talking about faith, and you were even talking about positive, upful habits and mindset. So, what would you recommend that an easy something that anyone could start doing to kind of start making that progress?
Everyone can meditate. They may meditate different degrees of ability, but everyone can start. The simplest way to do that is with a relaxed, upright posture. You don't have to be in a yogic posture. You can sit in a chair with your hands on your lap, or you can use one of the classic meditative yogic postures as well, such as easy asan or asan, as well as the Egyptian pose, which I just mentioned, which is in a chair. And simply watching the breath, hard to slow. Just count the breath in and out. Simply whatever it is you think meditation is, because then you not meditation. Quite simply, meditation is this single pointed. Let's say that again. Single pointed focus. That means focusing one's heart in one direction. Now, the best way to do that is breath is involved is when the breath goes down, which will naturally do if you observe, watch it. It will naturally start to slow down. In your brain, your thoughts, your mind are going to slow down with your breath slowing down. Thus, it will be easier for you to maintain the focus in one direction. At first, not so much try to stop them. That's wrestling, and that becomes tension and so forth. That's, understand that you know how to meditate already, but you're learning to deliberately meditate. Because any human being that's on planet Earth that I've met so far, the ones that I've met, and I've talked to those ones that I've met, and they've met ones, and they the same things, that when you go into the zone, what people call the zone, be it you're at your office or doing qigong or doing art or doing music, so on and so forth, wherever you hit that space and you were very, very focused, extremely focused, and the focus was without effort, specifically. It's a focus without effort, and the proficiency comes doing music to the zone. The music, same thing with sports or any other activity. So everyone has been in consciously access that state of mind, that state of being, that true state of being. then everything else is easy after that, or easier. Won't say it's easy, but it's easier as we practice, you know.
Yes, yes. Crucial. That was. I thought maybe you would say meditation, but I wasn't sure. But it's pretty relevant. Me and Forrest here, we met through a meditation group, Yogananda's
Nice.
meditation group, actually on the island. But thank you so much,
Kriya
Abba.
yoga.
What's that? Yeah, Kriya
Is it,
Yoga.
is it Kriya yoga?
Yes,
Nice.
yes. Thank you so much, Abba, for like old times, sitting in the room with you. Honor and a blessing for me. It was great. And let's see. I just want to, before I give you like your opportunity to give your final thoughts or whatever, I just want to let the viewers know that interested, I would like to have you as a recurring guest. You're such a wellspring
Yeah,
of
man.
knowledge, so I would love to kind of invite you on, periodically, as often as you're available, and we can like dive deep into certain aspects. So if you're open to that,
Yeah, this is crucial.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Because then we share the vibes.
Yes. And there's a lot. There's
Each
a
one
lot we
reach
could
one.
touch on. There's so much more we could touch on. We just basically scratched the surface today, kind of introducing people to you. I wanted to let you know and everybody else know that we are live streaming simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you guys are, it's about time that we got you in this live stream sphere, because I've been wanting to do this for quite some time with you. So I'm stoked. I'm really happy that we finally made it happen, and you guys can
True
support
indeed.
the stream. Actually, in all these live streams, I upload the audio version on Spotify, so you can share this with people, Abba,
Nice.
on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on Spotify, so people can listen in different ways. Um, and yeah, we're gonna keep on. We're gonna come up with some different topics. If you're watching the live stream or if you're watching the replay, if you have questions for Abba, you can write your questions in the comments, and then we'll ask Abba some of these questions next time on the next stream. So I know people are gonna like be watching the replay because not everybody is jumping on live, but usually we'll have people excited and wanting to like ask questions after the fact and hoping to catch you the next time. So sometime, and maybe you can think about what you want to share with us. But thank you, Abba, once again.
For sure.
You're such a blessing to us. Please give our love to Emperor. Get you to the Big Island. We got to set up a tour, a little tour, some teaching, some workshops, and it'll be some music as well. And then we're super happy. And do you want to share anything that you got going on? Anything that you got upcoming?
Just one for feasibly the next time.
How to connect with you and stuff like that.
Ones can reach me on direct message me on Facebook, Messenger, Abba Ras Anebana Tafari.
I'm gonna tag
is
you.
the best way to get me.
I'm gonna tag
or
you
I'm on Instagram.
I'll tag you in the description on the video, so I'll go back and tag you so people can find you.
So I was thinking about for like, I want to scratch it just a little. There's lost tribes of Israel. And notice I said tribes.
Yes.
The Igbo, the Falasha Jew in Ethiopia, and here's Yoruba. All carry, this is hard science too, by the way. They all carry the genetic of an Israelite. There's some resonance. Get prayed.
Yes, yes.
I had some vibe. I just want to for the people then. I feel let the people know your God is for real. I feel let the people know why. It's lossy are the seal. Jah the seal for real. Oh, seal. Jah the seal for real. Blessed love and light, Rastafari, Emmanuel, Rastafari. May love and peace and harmony flow in the hearts and minds. Rasta, full name, Almighty Oludumare, Almighty Tepmutnite, Father, Mother, Creator, King of cover this planet as the waters cover the sea and ocean. Selah. So yes, my Lord, and I give thanks to Allah, for the invite and hope ones and ones in some education and more light, more love, more blessing.
Yes. Thank you, Abba Ras Anebana Tafari. Halia King Selassie. Ja
Rastafari.
Rastafari. It's been an
Ever
honor.
living.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us your time today and your wisdom. Till next time, my friends, we're gonna bring Abba back, and we have lots more to dive deep into. So stay tuned. Reach out to Abba if you have any. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate love, you guys, watching and participating, and more questions, more better. And till next time, may the Grail be with you. Ja
Bless.
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Rastafari, Emmanuel.